Hey guys, Derek here, Speed Car 839. I am greasing the axles tonight, and first time I've done it, and just a few tips and tricks for you that I've learned. If you've done this 20 times, probably don't need to watch it, but if you've never done it before, I was a little bit worried about this stuff being kind of hard. It's not too bad, you can do it. Let me show you a couple of things that I learned. So first off, grease. Speed recommends the Belray Lube Anti-Seize, and then 50/50 with the Neo Synthetic CV500 joint grease. Had a little trouble finding this. I finally found it online at Race Ready. I called them and they shipped it out the same day, got it right away. And the shipping on it was just a couple of bucks. It was fair shipping. The Neo I got from Neo, and it was 30 bucks for 2 tubes, which kind of ticked me off. So I believe Race Ready has the Neo stuff, and I'll probably sell it to you cheaper. So there's your first thing. If you're gonna mix it, you can get these off of Amazon, a 6-pack for like 10 bucks. They come with this nozzle, and I apologize, I showed a link to this stuff earlier. This doesn't screw on to this, so I apologize for the $6.95 3-pack that's worthless, but the link for this is in there. And all I did on this is I just heated up the tip on the one that I'm actually using so that it would curve in there, and then with 2 caulk guns, my wife and I, we just squeeze even amounts from each gun, each grease, each tube into this tube at the same time. So it was, 50/50 going in, and then as it goes out of the gun, it'll mix in easy. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you get some blocks of wood on hand so you don't have to do anything sketchy like this. I got a jack on top of a jack because you need to get the car to full droop. I didn't have it jacked up when I first started, and I watched the video earlier. You gotta have it at full droop or it won't, the grease won't go in. So this is my no drip gun. It's a 10-ounce gun, and so I divided it. You need to put in 2 ounces in each U-joint or each universal joint there. And so I just marked it off 2 inches, gives you 2 ounces on each one. And then you can see my custom tip. One thing about this tube, even though this is the type of caulk gun, you push this button on it right here and it releases pressure off this arm. The way this tube is, if there's any pressure on it, it keeps squirting your $100 grease out. So my suggestion on this, normally I'm like do one at a time. I would take out all 4 screws, access screws, grease one. That way when you pull it out, you can immediately put it into the next one, into the next one, into the next one, and you're not making a mess on your floor and squirting grease all over the place, because even when you release that tube, it comes out. But yeah, you gotta have it at full droop. It's really not that hard. And then you want a long extension on your 3/16 so that you can come in through the back right here and get to this with a long extension. And then I used, don't drop your socket in there. Make sure I get that out. There it is. And then you want to use, when you use a ball end like this guy on these corners here, once you break it loose with this, you can use the ball end and it'll fit in there and you can unscrew it with the ball end. First off, jack it up full droop. Once again, if you don't have blocks of wood, do something sketchy like I've got there. Here's what we've got down below. Took me a little figuring out here and crawling around. This will help you. Underneath, right here, this is an access hole, and you're gonna rotate the axle until you see the little pin in there that removes it, and that's there's an 1/8 inch Allen. You're gonna take out the first one as a lock nut, don't drop it. And then the second one, you're gonna back off 2.5 turns, and then that'll allow this to slide out really, really easy. I have the hood off, and it makes it just a little bit easier. I can look down in there and rotate the axle. And then with the, the 3/16 Allen, we're gonna remove that, and we're gonna put our grease in there just like we did in the rear axles. One more quick thing that I did is with a paint marker, I marked a line that lines up with the Allen wrench on the inside, but I also put this line along here so that when I slid it in, that I knew that it was all the way in, so when I tightened it down, that it wasn't partially in and we're gonna have any issues in the future. And then on the outer, we're gonna pull the cap off on the outside, and there's a Zerk fitting here. I've already loosened it, it's just finger tight in there now. We're gonna take that out because I've got a caulk gun, and we're just gonna squirt some grease in that and then repeat. So front, it sounds intimidating to remove the axle if you've never done it before, not too bad. Okay, a little something that I learned. I had the axle pulled out farther and I couldn't get any grease in. And so when I slid it back in, it pulled the plunge out and allowed it to stick it to go in. So you want that hole just barely outside of the edge of the case in order to put your grease in.